This video is brought to you by patreon.com/worsttake. Get access to exclusive live streams and Discord servers, on-screen shoutouts, and early access to some videos when you join now. Help make sure that we can continue to make content like this by supporting the Patreon. Links are in the description down below. Hey, what's up and welcome to QnA, the show where I take your questions and answer them here in video format. Ton of questions to get into. Let's just jump into it. David and Joku Muse says, do you think the Browns will make at least one move with the remaining $16 million in cap space or roll it over like in years past? They're going to roll it over. I doubt that they make a move with that $16 million in cap space. It is worth noting that they did not restructure Deshaun Watson. Now, I don't know what that means, and I know a lot of people are going to try to fill in the blanks with whatever they feel like it means, but it means something, right? They usually restructure Deshaun Watson. They chose not to. My personal theory is that they're going to see what Deshaun Watson does this year and kind of make a determination on if they want to go forward on this experiment with Deshaun Watson or if they want to start deconstructing this experiment with Deshaun Watson. We'll see what happens. Both options are on the table. I think it's very possible that Deshaun stays healthy, plays very well, and the team does well, and they bring back Deshaun and they give him an extension. I think it's possible that that doesn't happen, but I think that's where they're at. But no, I don't think they're going to bring in anybody with that $16 million cap. They're going to want to roll that over so they can get some discount on cap space next year. Mr. Objective says, when you look at the division, what gives you the most confidence that the Browns can win the North over division rivals? Like, what would you say gives them that edge? Well, I think the Browns got the best roster in the AFC North. I think if you look at it pound for pound, position for position, the Browns have the best roster, the deepest roster in the entire division. That being said, there's a question of if the quarterback play can be on par with Joe Burrow and Lamar Jackson. Now, it doesn't have to exceed those two, but it does have to be on par. I don't think Pittsburgh's going to be able to get there. We obviously know that Baltimore and Cincinnati are going to be on par with each other with quarterback play. The question is, can the Browns get there? I think it's possible. I think it's real possible if Deshaun Watson stays healthy, that they can have quarterback play on par. And if that is the case, then I would say the Browns would be the pure favorite to win the division. I don't think they're the favorite right now, and I think that's rightfully the case because we're not sure if they have quarterback play on par. But if they get sure of that at any point during the season, they become the favorite to me because they're the best roster, hands down, in the division. I think that gives them the edge. The next question comes from UK Browns fan who says, if Denzel Ward and Newsome aren't ready to go by week 1, who would you start at cornerback 2 in nickel? I would be interested to see what the Browns do here because if both Ward and Newsome are out, you probably got to play Cam Mitchell as the second cornerback to Martin Emerson. And then I would probably move Grant Delpit to nickel and then have Ronnie McLeod play strong. That's the adjustment I would make. I wouldn't go down the DB depth chart. I would just use up some of the extra players that you have at safety who are used to filling some of those responsibilities to do it. Now, again, that's going to depend on a matchup by matchup basis too, right? If they're playing a team like Baltimore, it's going to be run heavy. They would definitely do that just to get heavier on a lot of their sets, so they can use Grant Delpit as another guy to run fit as well as an extra linebacker. If they're playing a team that's more about spreading you out and throwing the football, then they're probably going to go a different route with that just because they don't want to have Grant be that close to the line of scrimmage. They want to use him in coverage just a little bit more often. That's going to depend on the matchup, but I would expect them to get creative at that point and not just go straight up and down the depth chart, if that makes sense. The next question comes from Crow, who says, why do the majority of Browns media act so negatively? I don't know. And I don't listen to a lot of the Cleveland radio market anymore. That is not something I do anymore. I really just kind of hone in on the people that I know in this market, I work with in this market, that I feel like do really good work. And that means that a lot of the stuff that people kind of tell me is spewing a lot of the negativity, I'm not really listening to. So I'm not sure where it comes from. You can argue it's an old school mindset of being used to the team being garbage and knowing that they're going to be garbage. So you just hedge your bet and assume they're going to be garbage. You know, maybe it's a generational divide. I don't know. All I can control is how I react to the team, and I try to react as honestly and as fair to everything going on as possible. The next question comes from Lance King, who says, you think Jet Wills is still hurt or possibly not practicing in hopes of a contract extension? I don't know who started this rumor, but that would not even make any sense. Jet Wills is not the kind of player that can hold out for a contract. Like, you got to be one of the best players at your position to hold out for a contract extension. So it would not make sense that Jed Wills or his agent would feel like that is a good idea. I think he's just recovering from a knee injury. Like, I don't think there's a big conspiracy required here for Jed Wills. And honestly, if this were any other player, we wouldn't have this big conspiracy going on about, is this a holdout? And you know how I know that's true? Jack Conklin been out way more time than Jed Wills, and we expected Jack to be back around the same time as Jed, and he still ain't back. And I have not heard one conspiracy theory about if Jack Conklin told or not. Well, actually, I've heard one, but hey, I have not heard the same volume of conspiracy theories about Jack Conklin. I think this is more people already don't like Jed. They don't like that he's not back at practice, so they're focusing on that, and now people are making up reasons in their mind of why he's not back, instead of just accepting what looks like to be the obvious solution, with the obvious reason, which is he's still hurt. He's coming back off a knee injury. He'll be back soon, but he ain't back right now. Colin says, 2 questions. What do you anticipate the Browns to do with their first rounders this year? Should we expect an Amarius replacement? Maybe a left tackle? Oh, Amari's replacement. Okay, you got to put the apostrophe there. Fair expectations for Chubb coming off injury this year? I don't really think we should expect anything in August about what the Browns are going to do next March in the draft. We don't even have a clue about where they would be picking. We're so far away from that, and we're so far away from the things playing out that need to play out to help the Browns determine where they're at. This would be a pointless assessment, that answer I would give you on that. So I'm not even going to do it for you. They might draft the left tackle. They might draft the quarterback. They might draft whoever. Like, they could draft anybody at this point. We know nothing about what that pick's going to be. Number 2, the fair expectations for Nick Chubb coming off injury. You just want to see him be able to get, 4.5 a carry and be he might not be elite running back right off the injury, but you want to see him still be pretty good. I think that's a fair expectation. Biller says, heard they were trying Jack Conklin at left tackle. You think that's a good idea to look into? I do. I think everybody's getting excited because they're like, oh, he could start over Jed Wills at left tackle. I would put the brakes on that. But I don't mind Jack Conklin being a swing tackle. I think that's a good idea. Yeah, why not? But I do mind the idea of him starting and being better than your left tackle the last 4 years. Jack Conklin is coming off of 2 knee surgeries. He's also coming off of a ton of injuries in his career. He's also older than he's ever been. And he hasn't played left tackle since he was at Michigan State. And that was like, what, over 10 years ago? This usually does not go well. When you try to make somebody who plays right tackle and played right tackle for the last 10 years flip to the left tackle side. It just doesn't work as well as people want it to. If you don't believe me, this is something that I've gotten from Joe Thomas talking about it, where he says somebody out of college in their first 3 years, they can flip each side on tackle. But somebody who's played 10 years at right tackle, they're not going to flip to left tackle and be okay. It's just too much muscle memory. especially after injury, especially at 30. Think about Alejandro Villanueva when he went from Pittsburgh to Baltimore, and then also had to play the left side because Ronnie Stanley got hurt, and it was a disaster. It was an absolute disaster. Just pump the brakes on that idea. But if he's a backup, that's fine. He'll probably be as good, if not better, than most backups. But I don't think he's a solution at the starting tackle position. And my fear is if Jed struggles a little bit, the team might panic and put Jack Conklin in there at left tackle. And that ends up making the entire situation worse. Because now you done pissed off your left tackle. You got to go back to him. You're going to piss off Jack because you got to bench Jack. And I would avoid that situation entirely and just make Jack the backup swing tackle. And I think that'd be fine. All right, well, that's it for Q&A. I want to thank you guys for watching. Make sure you check out the stream later today. Y'all have a great day. Have an even better night. Peace.